Hello and welcome to Book Lovers Companion, the podcast about books, authors, their craft, and more. I'm your host, Edith, and joining me for this episode is, regular on the show, my co-host of the Teri and Edith show, and all over lovely woman, Teri M. Brown. Hello, Teri, and welcome back to this show.
Thank you so much for having me, Edith. And I love the introduction. I'm going to have you come to my house and say nice things about me every morning. I think that'll be really good for me.
We can always do our regular morning Zoom if you like. But it might be very early or rather very late on your ends because of the time difference. So.
But I think it probably won't work, but that's okay. Well, maybe I'll just get a recording of you saying the very lovely Teri, and that'll wake me up every morning. So
that we can do. You know, I've recorded a announcement on a bus once for the teacup for her phone. It's a ringtone.
Yeah.
It says 55 to Leighton Baker's Arms. 55 to Leighton Baker's Arms.
I love it.
Yep. Something different. Something different.
Absolutely.
And we are here to talk about your very new book. It's not even hot because it's not even out for everyone else. But I had the pleasure of reading it beforehand. Thank you very much for that. It's called Peg Unhinged, and it will be officially out on the 21st of April 2026. And I would say let's dive right in and tell our listeners as much or as little as you like, Teri.
Yeah. So Peg Unhinged, she is a woman going through menopause. And we meet her. She's around 50 years old. She feels like she's too heavy. She feels like she's not enough. She has the brain fog and the hot flashes and all of the things that kind of go along with menopause. And then just to add insult to injury, her husband has decided that he is kind of done with the marriage, which is really crazy because when you get to know him and her, she probably should have been done with the marriage long ago, but, stuck with it. But he is off and he is having a time with a lot of younger women. And she gets to be spectator to all of this. And her life kind of implodes. And we watch as she tries to navigate all of the stuff that's coming her way. Sometimes she does it well and sometimes she does not. And the does not parts are really funny. But in addition to it being funny, because it is funny, it's a good, funny read. I do hope it also brings into focus a little bit for some people, kind of the disparity that women have. We go to the doctor, we're patted on the head, we're told this is normal. And it's like, there's nothing normal about putting my phone in the refrigerator. Like there's nothing normal about that. And I would, let's do something about it. And, you talk about hormone replacement therapy and people are like, oh no, we don't want to do that. But, don't get me on a soapbox, but let me tell you, if a man needed it, they would do it immediately. And for women, they just pat you and say, So there is a little bit of that comes in the end. But I like to see it as a way to show women that life isn't over at 40 or 50 or 60 or even 70 or 80. It's not over until you choose for it to be over, and that you can just keep living and keep reinventing yourself and keep becoming and figuring out what's right for you in the time of life that you're in.
It's certainly not over at 70, especially not if you don't make it so, because I can tell you there are 14-year-olds, and when you look at them and how they behave, you feel as if their life is over already.
Yes. But, I think part of this, so the story came about for me because I used to read a book as a little girl called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. And I read that book I probably a million times because that was the book all my peers were reading at the time. And it was all about, like, when is your period going to start and when are your boobs going to grow, right? Like you couldn't wait. I don't know why we couldn't wait, but we couldn't wait. This was like, whoa. And then it gets there and you're like, oh, never mind. I'd like to, but nonetheless, well, that became a movie. And when the book became a movie, I think I must have seen maybe an interview with the author or something. And it got me to thinking. And my thought was, I wonder whatever happened to Peg. And my answer in my head was, or whatever happened to Margaret, and my answer was, oh, she now goes by Peg and she's going through menopause. And when I had that thought, this book kind of came out of me. So it's not the Margaret from the Judy Blume book, because you don't do that. But it is a Margaret. It is a woman. It is someone of that age who people my age who were reading that book will enjoy seeing someone their own age now who's pushing through and trying to figure out what does this next phase of life look like.
Absolutely agree. And maybe yours is far more real.
Yes. Yeah. It is very real. And it's interesting because people have asked me, well, like, are you Peg? And it's like, sort of. Sort of. I mean, there are some of the things that happen to Peg that happen to me, but not all of them. I don't drink. I think if I were a drinker, I could be Peg. I understand Peg's desire to have a glass of wine in the middle of the afternoon. I have wanted it as a non-drinker. I've thought today, if I were a drinker, it would be a glass of wine day. So, I mean, I understand her. I also have had the hot flashes that come at the most inconvenient times. Mostly I've had the brain fog where you walk around and it's like, I've put my phone down. Where did I put my phone down? It's here somewhere. I know it is. And then I find it in the strangest places. I've put it in my underwear drawer, so I'm putting things away and then it just ends up in the drawer too. I actually one day, this is the saddest one, is I was on the phone with my daughter on the way home from the grocery store. I get home. I now have the phone on my shoulder, the way you do an old-fashioned phone.
Yeah.
But I had my hands full, so I had it like this, and I'm unloading all the groceries. And I have some place that I need to leave and go to. And so I got my purse and I can't find my phone. So I keep talking to my daughter and I'm looking for my phone and I'm looking everywhere for my phone. I even opened up the refrigerator thinking, did I put it away? None of the cupboards. So I assume it must be out in the car still. So I'm still talking to my daughter and I go out to my car and I'm looking between the seats and under the seats looking for my phone. And all of a sudden it's like, this is the phone. You're talking on the. So I am Peg, but I'm not Peg. If that makes any sense. I think we're all Peg.
In a way we are, yes, because I'm of that certain age as well. But it's also comforting to know that even my younger colleagues sometimes have this brain fog. Maybe it's because due to the work we do and to the stress. Yes. And I think there are different kinds of brain fog. You remember, and I think you've mentioned it also in the book, this COVID brain fog. It was a thing.
Yes.
I think puberty brain fog is also a thing because...
it is?
Yes, of course, because all the hormones, all the changes in our brain, it also happens again at menopause.
Sometime between 40 and 60. And the unfortunate part is now I'm 62. I'm through menopause, right? Like this should be done. My brain has never really bounced back. Like it kind of, and I think, because hormones have changed significantly, the estrogen is down and the progesterone is down and all of those things. And it makes me less cognizant. Like I do wander around kind of in this fog. So yeah, I mean, I just felt like we need to discuss it. And so I've had a lot of people say to me, well, I can't believe you wrote a non-historical fiction because, my last 3 were historical fiction, right? And this is so different. But can you imagine a woman like Peg set in history? No, because most women didn't make it to menopause. They died. And if they did make it, no one was talking about it. There wasn't
have the time. Let's be honest, it didn't have time to talk about it. Yeah. Especially, we're not talking about the upper 1%.
Right. No, but those people who are canning their food in order to get through the winter, that's not what's on their mind. And not only that, but so many women didn't make it much past 50 or 55 years old, especially if they were birthing a lot of children.
Exactly. Yes. I mean,
You know?
it was a health risk, and it still is a health risk. Another thing we do not talk about. I
Right.
mean, the most uh, dangerous thing for women is having children.
Right.
Still.
Right. Still. Um, Particularly in a third world country, or particularly, I was reading an article not too long ago that women of color
Hmm.
actually have much worse outcomes
Hmm.
because they're not taken seriously when they talk about their pain.
Hmm.
Which is crazy to me, but it's shows, and so you're right, there are all of these issues. I think the other thing I really wanted was I wanted a character who was a woman who wasn't 20 years old and
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
with a perky body and, and I didn't want the stereotypical old woman who
Hmm.
sits on a porch and knits,
Yeah, I can understand that. And I
you know?
think, do you think maybe it's also due to the American culture where everything has to be, as you said, perfect, good looking,
Yes.
perky? Because I often think it's a bit different here in Europe, especially when we look at those role models, as we like to call them, those actors and
Mhm.
actresses, the the celebrities. Because I often think of this one actress from the UK, and she has this burn scars, I think, on her shoulder and her arm.
Mhm.
And I often wonder, would she have had this kind of career she had in the UK if she were American? I suppose not.
Yeah, and probably not. I think that the American culture is very much into young and perfect.
Hmm.
We tend to look at the elderly as a a blight,
Yeah. Yeah.
I read an article, it was horrible. I don't know how true it was, it's hard to know now when you're reading things how true it is, but that in Canada right now, there are when older people come in, one of the first questions they ask them is, "Would you like help dying?"
Yeah, I've read about that too. Assisted dying, this goes far
Yeah.
beyond everything they have ever thought of,
W
or
which
as it
which
was
to me
meant to
is
be.
which to me is horrible because just
Yep.
because you're older doesn't mean your life is over.
Yep.
Like, maybe it does, maybe it does, and maybe the question can be asked, but to start there, to look at someone and say, "Look, you're over 70, would you rather just die?" Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, that just that so I think that sometimes we have to look at the way the culture is, and so,
Mm.
and I also look at the way women are taught from a young, young, young age,
Mm.
so as little girls, that we're supposed to be quiet and behave,
Ah, yes.
right? And we're supposed to be nurturers and have empathy for others and don't put yourselves first and be kind of quiet,
Yes.
and don't make a fuss and a ruffle. Well, you get to be about 50 years old and you think to yourself, screw that.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
I'm and so it's interesting that and I think it happens because of the hormone change. I
Mm.
really do, because women start losing a lot of those hormones that make them so much like women. We lose a lot of the estrogen and we lose a lot and so all of a sudden we say cranky things and we let ourselves say, "This is what I want." And everyone looks and goes, "Oh, I can't believe it." But how freeing to
Abso
be 50 and to be able just to say, "You know what? I am not doing that."
Absolutely agree. So at the age of 50, you can wear a shirt that's a T-shirt that says "What doesn't kill you disappoints me" on a regular basis. Then,
Yes, in fact, you can wear anything you want. You can wear leopard skin pants if you choose to,
yeah, if it floats
and
your boat.
right, and people might look at you, and they might say, "Ooh, a little eccentric," but they let it happen. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, when you're 30,
Everyone.
then
Mm.
oh, yeah, whoa, whoa, and then, but you get to a certain point and they're kinda like, "Oh, well, we'll just let her go," and it's
Yeah.
almost like they become afraid of you,
Mm.
like, "Oh, well, we don't wanna bother her too much because, she might, like, go off on you," and it's like, "Yeah, she might. She's sick and tired of being quiet. She's been quiet for 50 years. She's not gonna be quiet the last 50."
Yeah, exactly. It also, this also reminds me of the scene, you probably remember it as well from Fried Green Tomatoes, where
Yeah.
Kathy Bates gets into her car and rams into the
Yeah.
car of these two women, those 20-something women, because she has the better insurance.
Yes. Yes. And so, it's so this is interesting. When I sent my book to the editor, my editor is young. And there is a point, I'm not going to give it away, but there's a point in there where Peg really gets distraught with
Mm.
one of her coworkers. Okay. And I won't get into what she does, but she gets distraught. You know what I'm talking about. And my editor says to me, "Do you really think she would do that? Isn't that a little over the top?" And I said, "Yes, it is over the top. And it's exactly what she would have done." And I said to her, "How old are you?" Right? I think she said 38 or 39. I said, "Give it just a few more years and you'll understand what I'm talking about." Because the anger does kind of like billow up. Like one minute you're perfectly human and the next minute you are like the Hulk. You've turned green, your shirt's ripping off, you're like, it really happens that way. And so I think it was fun for me to allow Peg to be everything and do everything that sometimes I wanted to do but didn't. Like I would have never done that to someone. Yet I thought about it, right? I definitely considered it. So.
I do hear you. I so hear you. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And uh, 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 come to think of we spoke about culture and how culture perceives women and how women perceive themselves and how we should perceive ourselves according
Right.
to culture and
Right.
societal norms and so on. We have this distorted view of ourselves. Why is it that men don't have that?
I don't know.
I mean, they have no hair or two hair, and they put them across their head, and they think they look fantastic and whatnot.
Right. With the comb over, where they, where they have this one long strand,
Yes.
right? That's like combed all the way over and wrapped around the top. And then they hairspray it on.
Yes.
And it's just like this clump. And they're fine.
Yes.
Right. And you and I, it's like, oh my gosh, no, we couldn't go out. We couldn't go out that way. Right. And like, to get on here, I put on lipstick and I made sure that I looked deep. Well, men don't. And
Exactly.
and so it's definitely a societal thing. This is what women are supposed to be. We're supposed to be, like I said, quiet and kind and pretty and decorative, and we're on someone's arm, and but we get to a particular age where we roll our eyes just like that, right? Where we say, "I have had enough of this."
Yes. Yes.
Like
Most definitely.
I am, like I don't mind dressing up and looking pretty. I actually enjoy that. I find it very enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a requirement that in order to go to the grocery store, I have to do all of these things in the bathroom before I'm allowed to leave my house, when a man can literally comb or not his hair and walk out the door.
It's true. It's absolutely true. I mean, it helps if you have short hair like I do. But so for example, I do not care about my hair color. I haven't cared about my hair color since I was 21 because I started to get gray very early, and who cares? I mean, it has to take me about half an hour at the hairdresser's. I can't stand
Yeah.
it any longer.
Much longer than that, and you're done.
Wash it, cut it, just blow out whatever.
Well, and I
I
always tell them when they cut my hair, it's like, now remember, I'm klutzy. I can use a hair dryer and a brush, but nothing more than that. And so if this is going to be one of those styles that I have to use 4 different products and 6 different tools to make my hair, it will never look good. So don't do that. Like I just don't have a lot of time.
Yes.
I do have time, but I don't want to take my time doing that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
right?
I
think the
I
other
fully agree.
I think the other thing that's interesting is if you are a woman and you're in a professional setting and you say what's on your mind, you're seen as aggressive. And a man in a professional setting that says what's on his mind is seen as a leader. Right? And so we also have that going on. And I think that as women age, we start to recognize how unfair that is, and we start to speak our minds anyway. And it's like, fine, consider me aggressive if you'd like to. I'll take the label.
I absolutely agree. And isn't it disappointing that in this day and age we still have different norms or ideas about how we should act as male and female? As you said, if you behave in a certain way, especially if you're a woman, you are labeled as aggressive or emotional or whatnot.
Aggressive, emotional, the B word,
Exactly.
Exactly. and they just, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
and say things to you like, you're never going to go move anywhere in this country if you don't, in this company, if you don't learn to get along with your peers, etc. But men can literally say anything and do anything, and they just, and it's considered normal for them.
Exactly. And they even get a pat on the back for being the way they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's
and what's funny to me is as women age and we start going through these hormone shifts, all of a sudden we kind of look at all of that and say, and we see this in Peg, where she's kind of like, I am done. I am so done.
And what struck me most was also the characterization of her husband. I call him waste of space husband because let's be honest. That's the best way to describe him. He is a waste of space, and it takes quite a long time for her to see that.
Well, I think in my mind, I look at her as, here she has done all that she's done. She's become a real estate agent. She's good at what she does. She's the one who has really been supporting her family, raising the children, doing the things, making the decisions, yada, yada. And he leaves her. And that is an offense in her mind. Right. And so she can't accept this because of all the people who should have left, she should have been the leaver, right? And I think that she's kind of more distraught that he left than the fact that he left. She's more concerned with the leaving portion, not the fact that he's gone, but that he left. Like that's in her mind. It's like, what are you leaving? Like, I did everything and you left, and he's off, and and the funny part, the part that I loved writing the most is he's an older man. We're going to 50-ish, right? And he's dating 20 and 30-year-olds because 20 and 30-year-old women find 50-year-old men handsome and distinguished and mature. And they just have this thing, right? Whereas 20-year-old men do not look at 50-year-old women that way. 20-year-old men do not look at a 50-year-old woman and go, oh, now that's hot. I mean, a few of them do, but that's rare, right? And so here he is dating easily all of these young chicks. And she's standing there going, okay. So she decides she's going to start dating, and she gets on this dating app. And I had so much fun with the different dates that she had. In fact, I had reached out to my readers and I said, can you send me your worst dates ever? And then I used some of the scenarios as ways to, incorporate. And it was hysterical. People have had some bad dates, just so you know. Reach out and ask your friends, and you will get some wild, wild, wild things. And so that was a lot of fun. I had fun when she was filling out the whole dating app thing and trying to 5 words that describe you. And she's like, the whole thing. And then her dates themselves were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed writing those really horrific dates.
I can imagine, because there were some of these guys who were, oh dear God. Yes, I can imagine. I was wondering about that part in your book, and it reminds me of an encounter a friend of mine had on an airplane. She and her sister had it, and she said, "Oh, I met this guy. He was also from Austria, and I don't know where they went. I think they went to the UK, and he went on. He had to change planes, and he said, oh, he looked like a god, but dear God, he shouldn't have opened his mouth.
Yeah.
He was so stupid. This guy was so incredibly stupid.
Yes. Well, between the entitlement, where they're there and they think that, we've had one date and a drink and now it's off into bed we go. And she's like, oh, whoa, no, this is not what I'm doing. The ones that like still live in their mother's basements and play video games all day. And the ones that are so boring. Like they might be smart, but the only thing they can talk about is, exoflops and other things to do with their business. And she's just like, I had so much fun with that. That to me was, because in her mind, she is going to be seen dating and her estranged husband is going to get jealous and come running back to her. I mean, that's what she envisions in her head. And then instead, what she has is a bunch of very lackluster dates.
Yes, but in the end, he does come running in a different way, dear listeners.
Yes.
But he does come running. Good for her, I have to say.
Yes.
But,
yes.
You once said when we spoke about this book in your Teri and Edith show, you said, you were a bit worried about how Peg might, or like readers might relate to her because of the things that happen or the things she does. I have to say there wasn't a moment I was turned off by Peg.
Good.
Because I could understand this chain of events and how she got into the situations. And
right. And so for me, I felt like she was lovable.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hope that while you're reading it, you're saying things like, oh, no, Peg, don't do that. Oh, bad decision.
Yeah.
But you don't say, that's it, I'm not reading this anymore.
No.
Because I think that I lead her along and you're just kind of going along with her on this ride. And you realize that she's kind of on a roller coaster she can't figure out how to get off of.
Yeah.
She does eventually kind of figure herself out.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, she makes some pretty poor decisions. So,
which were quite understandable in a way.
Yes, but it isn't just poor decisions out of nowhere.
No,
it's poor decisions. Partially they're hormone induced. Partially she's so sad and angry about where her life has gone. She's just got a lot of stuff going on, and my hope is that when people read her, they even if they wouldn't have done it themselves, they at least understand where she's coming from.
Mm. One absolutely does, and she stays a likable character from start to finish. To be honest, So there was not a moment where I thought I can't deal with her anymore. Not at all. What I found interesting, although, two characters, her girlfriends. I put a big question mark next to them in my notes because I'm not sure about them.
I've had some people reach out about them. I wanted her two friends to be the friends that she had in a different era of her life.
Mm.
We all have friends that we look back and we think, I wouldn't be friends with them now.
Mm.
Like I've moved on.
Yeah.
And Peg is moving on.
Mm.
And her friends aren't.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where this cross comes through. She had friends. I feel like they were her friends, but they were more friends of convenience. They were she fit into the clique at the time. She was doing the right things.
Yeah.
She was a successful woman doing a job. She had the time and the money to go shopping and to go out and have drinks and do fun things with the ladies. And then as that started to change, her friends are a little less. They keep saying to her, get it together. get it together. What is, and they look at it more as not get it together because we're worried about you, but get it together because of what it looks like on us.
Yeah.
What you're doing is a bad reflection on us. And I think she really starts to see who they are underneath.
Yeah,
and then I give her a new friend, right? I give her a new friend who is opposite of that.
Yeah.
Who accepts Peg exactly as she is and wants to see Peg make better choices for Peg, not for herself. And so I think that's why I put them in there. I just wanted to, I think it happens in our life. There are some friends that we have that remain friends throughout everything. And then there are those friends who are time period friends. And as you move into a new period of time in your life, they don't really fit anymore. What they want to do, how they want to have fun, what they want to talk about doesn't really match you anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
So.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It happens. I mean, in Peg's case, it ended with a bang.
Yes.
But I would say the bang was good for her. And she stood up. She stood up for herself and for her new friend.
And I think that she began to understand who she was too. That she'd been coasting along.
Yeah.
Just doing the things. I'm a real estate agent and I'm a mom and I'm a wife and these are the things I do. And she wasn't really remembering who she was at her core as a person.
Yeah. And she forget about her strength.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that happens. I was in an emotionally abusive relationship for 14 years. And when I got out of that, it took a long time to figure out who I was again, because you lose that. And although Peg was not in an emotionally abusive relationship, she wasn't in a good relationship.
Yeah.
She didn't have someone standing behind her, cheering her on.
Exactly.
Working side by side with her. She didn't have that. So in a way, it was at least a neglectful relationship. And she forgot who she was.
Yeah. Yeah, because between all those things like going to work, bringing up the children, taking care of their home, and having this, as I said, waste of a space husband. Yes, and his harebrained schemes.
Yes. I mean, he always had a quick fix for making money, but he had zero follow through. And most of these quick fix ideas were harebrained. They weren't going to go anywhere, but he would spend money on them, then not even see them through and then move on to the next thing, the next shiny object. And I love it when she's cleaning out that space in her house and she's pulling out all of this junk that he's purchased. And she's like, what am I going to do with all of this?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, what she realizes in the end is also hardening because then she realizes her worth, what she has to do for herself, and people around her also realize her worth. Not saying more, dear listeners. Read for yourselves. Right. It's absolutely worth your time.
It's a good ending. I like endings. I like an ending that kind of wraps things up where you know. Now, there is a love interest in this book, and it doesn't really wrap up. It is not a romance. So for people who want a romance, this is not it. But it does have romantic elements to it.
True.
And it does leave you wondering what's going to happen, but not in a way that leaves you like on a cliffhanger.
True, because that wasn't the topic or the theme of your book.
Yes.
So it's
more, there.
Yeah, it's there. It's more on the outskirts of the story, but it is nice that it is there for her, especially for her character. But it's not the main thing. Of the book.
Right. So if you're looking for a romance, this isn't. Yeah. If you're looking for a romance, this isn't it. Yeah. But if you like a little bit of romantic tension every now and then, this has that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Plus, it was a good way for me to explore this big hormonal shift that she's going through because she keeps having these thoughts. He's a client. And she keeps having these thoughts, and they're like inappropriate, and she knows they're inappropriate. And she keeps saying to herself, what is going on? Like, I feel like a teenager again.
Yeah.
And that is part of what happens is you all of a sudden you get this rush of emotions. And yeah, you're back to that, you know, how you said your teenagers that you work with are this way.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you do kind of regress for a little while as you try to figure all of this new hormone shift
Yeah.
out, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I also loved interspersed with your chapters, her God conversations.
Yes, yes. And so they're not prayer. It's not
No.
like she's, you know, she's having a conversation with God,
Yeah.
and they're very, very frank. You know,
Yes.
hey, look, what is going on with this
Yeah.
mess? You know, one of my favorite things that she says is, I don't understand why you created one sex whose hormones change faster than most people change underwear, right? And men have these static hormones that once they get through puberty, it pretty much stays the same for the rest of their life. Like, what was that? And we're going to have a talk about that. She talks with God more like she's talking with a friend over coffee, and just says, we are going to have to chat about this whole thing that you're calling menopause.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
And I
was
think
fun.
I think it helps you get to know the real Peg.
Yeah.
Because in the chapters, we see the unhinged Peg.
Yeah.
We see her in
Yeah.
all of her glory. And
Yeah.
in the chapters where she's talking with God, it's not that she's any less unhinged, but we get more an internal, her angst about what is going on, and look, this is what I thought life was going to be, and now what do I have here? And I did that because since my husband died a year ago, and I have had quite a few frank conversations where it's kind of like, look, we're going to have a long talk. I don't understand this whole plan of yours. You know, that doesn't. And so I thought, why don't I use that as a vehicle for letting you see an interior of Peg that you can't see when she's losing it.
Yep.
When she's unhinged, when she's screaming into the waves, when she's doing the things that she does, right?
And it absolutely fit, and it was fun to read in between her inner thoughts when she was talking sort of to God, and it was really absolutely fitting. And I mean, it is, you said it before, it is completely different from everything else you wrote, and you had a lot of fun writing it. And I have to say, as someone who had the chance to read it beforehand, it's absolutely great for the readers to sit back and read about Peg.
I was concerned. The hardest thing for me is, well, in addition to writing in first person, because I don't do that naturally, I had to go back and change so many things. I would be writing and all of a sudden it'd be like, shoot, I've slipped into third person again, and I'd have to go back and change things. But the hardest thing was making Peg funny all the time, but not all the time.
Yeah.
Like you had to see that personality, that kind of tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, little bit of dark humor person in every chapter, and you needed to have funny things happen, but you don't want it to turn slapstick.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to be careful. And you also, I lost her voice. I was writing at one point, and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and I looked back at what I'd written and I hated it. I had lost her voice. She wasn't funny anymore.
Okay.
You know, and so I had to go back and literally throw out 40,000 words and start back from a space that I still felt like I had Peg's voice, and try again. And so it's harder to write humor than I thought it is. You know, I would have thought, oh yeah, Huber should. No, it's hard because how much is enough and how much is too much? And that line is very narrow.
It absolutely is, yeah. I think it is. I mean, as we said in previous conversations, making people laugh is the hardest thing of all. I mean, frighten them, or I don't know, writing something awful. It's way easier than being humorous.
And is it funny? Like, it's funny to me. Is it funny to other people?
Exactly.
Did it go too far? Because sometimes humor can go too far. I remember my mother used to tell me all the time, a joke is only funny if both people are laughing. And that would be because maybe my brother would tell a joke that he thought was funny, but it was actually hurtful to me. And so her, it's only funny if, and so you're writing and it's like, you have to make sure that you're not pushing it too far.
Yeah.
You don't want to make people uncomfortable with the laughter. You just want them to laugh.
Yeah.
You don't want them to go because they don't know how to, like you need them to really understand who she is and follow through with her laughter. And like I said, you have to be careful you don't get slapstick.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
She can't be doing ridiculous things every moment of every day.
No.
Because then she's no longer believable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's a tightrope. I found that to be the most challenging.
And isn't it always also the case that in all the acts and all those actors who brought humorous characters on the screen and on the stage, there is always an element of a teeny tiny bit of sadness in between?
Yes.
And being seriousness.
Because you have to temper it.
Yeah.
You can't always be this funny.
Yeah.
There has to be something here, right? And then it was the job, my job to find. I had someone tell me just the other day, a humorous book on menopause? Menopause isn't funny.
Well.
And it's like, well, it's not funny when it's happening to you, but it's funny. I mean, it is funny. And so it's the job of finding those funny elements and finding a way to make them funny, even though when happening to you, there is nothing more horrific than a hot flash that feels like you're boiling from the inside out and you can't do anything about it and you feel like you're going to spontaneously combust. When that is happening, it is not a lot of fun. But it was funny when you're watching Peg stand in the freezer putting ice cubes down her bra, right? Like, see, and you're laughing because it was funny. But if it were happening to you right now, it would not be humorous. Right. And so that's another job, is how do you make something that isn't funny happening to you funny when it happens to someone else? But we all like the show. What was the show that they used to have? The bloopers show, and you'd see the kids. It was like the video bloopers. And like you'd see a kid, America's Funniest Home Videos. Okay. And you'd see like a kid and all of a sudden they crash. Right. And we all laugh. Well, that's not funny. Except that it was funny because we know they only showed that because the kid obviously was fine afterward and it was just funny what happened. Yeah. And so you have to find that where you can make people laugh about something because in their mind they know she's okay.
Exactly. And isn't that what we call, and you also use this word in the English language, Schadenfreude?
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, when you laugh at someone else's mishap and...
Yes. I love that word.
I'm not sure if the Americans use it, but the British certainly use it, Schadenfreude.
I've never heard that word before. I love it. I love it. That's a new word. That will go in my word of the day. How do you spell that?
Let me put it in the
put it in the chat for me. Awesome.
I put it in the chat for you. I know it is used in the English language because I wasn't sure about the Americans, but the British certainly use it, Schadenfreude.
I've never heard it. I love that. That is perfect. Because yes, that is. We do laugh at other people's mishaps once we are sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
Very, very most people are not going to laugh at something when you find out that the person was then hurt.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you know in the end that everybody came out of it okay, you can definitely laugh at the fact that, the kid, smash their dad in the head with a golf club because that was pretty funny. It wasn't funny to the dad at the moment.
Yes.
But right? And that's the way it is with Peg Unhinged.
Yeah.
Is no, if it were happening to you in the moment, you're right. Menopause is not funny in that way. But it is funny.
Yeah.
There's a lot of humor to putting ice cubes in your bra.
Now I do feel bad, because I haven't got hot flashes, and I maybe have cold flashes, but I have them all my life now. So it's
But you know what? And
yeah,
that's the other thing is I've had people say, I didn't have all of those problems, and it's like most people don't. I gave Peg a bad case of menopause. She has a lot of things going on, right? But I wanted everyone to see themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you had brain fog, you saw that. If you had hot flashes, you saw that. If you had, anger issues, you saw that. If you had the weight gain, you saw that. If you had any of those things. And so, I gave it all to her. But as an author, that's one of the licenses I get to take, right? Is I get to allow her to experience the breadth of it. Yeah. Most people do not experience every single thing on
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it's your absolute license to do things which are not true for everyone. Because where would we be? Because we are back down to write what you know, and then you could
and then I can only write
yourself.
I can only write a 62-year-old woman who has had mild menopause, and that's not funny.
Exactly.
So
yeah. Then where would we be? Most of the books would have never been written.
Absolutely. I think when we talk about write what you know, I think that we need to remember that it isn't necessarily about character or setting as much as it's about emotion and feeling. Yeah. I can write about emotions and feelings, and both men and women have them, which means I can write about both men and women. Mm-hmm. And there are certain feelings that maybe would be harder for me to write about because I haven't experienced anything similar. But even if I've experienced something similar, you can often extrapolate and say, okay, well, I could, if I felt this way because of this, then I suspect that I would feel similar in this situation,
Yep. Yeah, but isn't this also a part of being human? I mean, most humans. I'm not talking about people who are, a sociopath or psychopath, who can't change perspective or aren't able to put themselves in someone else's shoes. But isn't that what we are able to with empathy as people? Most of us.
Most of us can.
Have that ability. So even though you have never experienced those emotions and feelings yourselves, you can put yourself in someone else's shoes.
And how do we do that? We usually do that we start with an emotion we have felt.
Yes.
So for instance, I'm grieving right now my husband, and if you haven't lost a husband, you might say, well, how would I put myself in her shoes? Well, have you ever been sad?
Exactly. Or maybe
you can start there.
Yeah.
Or have you ever lost anyone?
Exactly.
And maybe not even to death, but to moving.
Yeah.
And now you no longer get, like if you've ever experienced loss of any kind, sadness of any kind, that's where you start. And that's how we do empathy. And so I think when we talk about write what you know, we need to take it more to that level. Write about things that you know in terms of, emotions. Because if writing what you know, no fantasy book is allowed. No science fiction book is allowed.
Exactly.
When men were the only ones allowed to be authors, there should have been 0 women characters. And it becomes ridiculous when you take it out to the logical conclusions of all of that.
I know. I mean, we are going away from that, but come to think of it, you can't offend anyone. We're talking about lawnmower parents. We're not talking about helicopter parents anymore. We're talking about lawnmower parents. So aren't children these days supposed to confront feelings, even the bad ones, because
Yes.
let's put them under some glass because maybe they might break. But how are they then able to become
Functioning adults.
functioning, full human beings without having experienced all the good and the bad?
Well, so here's something that I believe is you can't understand good if you don't experience bad. You can't.
Yeah.
You don't know you have it good.
Exactly.
You don't know what peace is until you have felt something that isn't peaceful.
Yeah.
And then you go, "Oh, that feeling that I had when I didn't feel like this, that was like you good and bad, happy and sad, anger and contentment. All you have to feel the other."
Exactly.
And so we do people a disservice when we take away everything that makes them feel in a way that isn't what we consider a positive emotion.
Exactly.
Because you don't understand positive unless you have negative.
And how are they supposed to stand up for themselves if they had never had to? Because all the parents do is go full steam ahead and make sure everything is out of the way. So they will never ever experience a point where somebody says no.
Yeah.
No, most certainly not.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. What?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to Yeah. I would be a terrible parent in today's world. Or no, I would be a great parent, but the other parents wouldn't like me.
Yeah.
Because
probably not. No.
Because and I love watching my children. My children they're doing it maybe a little kinder than me, but still they have boundaries. They have, and I think that's what children need. Children need to feel that and know that. But,
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And in Peg, we don't really meet her children.
No, we don't.
We they're in the background, but we do see her have a frank discussion with her son, who's getting ready to go off to college, and she's just like, "I don't have the money to send you. Your dad's not willing to pay his half, and your sister has 1 year left. I'm committed to helping her finish that because she's got 1 year left. You haven't started yet. You can go to the community college if you want to, but I can't pay the full thing." And I think, that's a conversation that is honest and frank and he didn't handle it too well, but 17, 18-year-old kids don't.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's okay. And they eventually get it figured out and then they handle it, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Because maybe he was, again, someone who was put under the glass for
a little bit under the glass. Yeah.
Because otherwise, sometimes children realize what their parents do for them, what mom and dad do for them. Sometimes they realize that it's just, maybe, again, a waste of space. And you can't rely on him.
Right.
And obviously, Peg's husband is that kind of person.
Yes. Yeah. He's the fun dad. She describes him as the fun dad, the one who definitely will get on the floor and play games and tickle. But when it comes time to make sure that everyone has a bath and that everyone's fed and that there's money in the bank, and he's not that dad.
Yeah.
And, and she's been playing both. She's been playing both mom and dad, and he's been playing playmate. It's almost like she had 3 children. She had the 2 that she bore, and then she had the one she married.
Yeah.
So
it's true. That's true indeed. I often heard that as well in real life.
Yeah.
From people.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely enjoyed this book, Teri. It was
an
absolute fun to read. I loved her. I loved Peg. And I was so team Peg.
Oh, good.
From start to finish. Because, it was great. It was great to read. And in a way, you can find yourself in her, even without the hot flashes.
Yeah.
So absolutely recommendable, this book. I hope you have a lot of readers, a lot of people who will buy this book. But let me ask you, now that that's out very soon, you have to think of the next one. What What's next, Teri?
So I actually have an idea, but I'm a pantser. And so as a pantser, I don't have it like in stone, but there's something called a Quipu. It's Quipu. And it's the Incan people would use these strings and tie knots, kind of like macrame. But what they were doing was keeping track of how many alpaca they sold, how many, whatever. Well, I read an article where they have discovered that some of these Quipu did more than accounting. They actually told stories. So they're narrative. Well, that just I just went wild with that. So I have a dual timeline, historical fiction, maybe with some mystery-ish involved. I have a woman who she's adopted. She knows she's adopted. She knows that she has a South American heritage. So when she goes to school, she becomes an anthropologist and is studying that culture. That's really what sends her. And she gets involved with this Quipu, and she's trying to unravel the story. The history part is we see the woman who created the Quipu, and we're figuring out the story. I think what I want to do is have that woman somehow be related to the anthropologist. I don't know. And I really don't know where it's going. That's what I have. That's it.
Okay.
That's the extent of what I have. But I'm really excited to sit down and start working on that and see where it goes. Because I think it's going to be fun.
It sounds intriguing.
And you know me, I always am trying something different. So this is another very different. I mean, it's a little bit like Peg with a mashup, because I have, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a contemporary, but it's also a historical, and it's we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just see what happens. And then for all I know, it won't work and I'll write something else. So who knows?
Whatever you will write, I'm looking forward to it. You know that. No matter what.
Plan on me again in about a year. I'll be back. You know that.
You do know that you have a standing invitation on this show.
Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
And when you start writing again, you have a standing invitation on mine. So
thank you. Teri, is there anything else you would like our listeners to know?
I mean, just where to find me. The best place is to go to my website, which is my name, TeriMBrown.com, and that's Teri with one R. There you can find everything about me. If you like social media, all my links are there. If you want to join a newsletter, you can do that. If you want to buy books, you can do that. I have several podcasts, so I have Online for Authors. We have the Teri and Edith show together. Yes. I have a little bite-sized podcast that I'm calling The Book Hook. All of that's there. And then I even just have a sign up. I mean, not a sign up, just a contact me page. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to reach out and say, hey, I have this one question, feel free to do that. I love chatting with people about books.
Yes, she does.
Oh, and review.
Yes.
Review. Yes. If you read it and like it, review it, please.
You do your reviews yourself, so.
Yeah, I do. And I try to review every book I read because I know how valuable that is.
Yeah, I agree, but.
Yeah.
Today has only 24 hours.
I know. I'm a busy beaver. I have a lot of. In fact, on my list today is a book that I need to review. So it's just
Okay. Oh dear. Teri, thank you so much for joining me. Please wait for me in the green room.
All right.
I'll be with you shortly.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Dear listeners, I do hope you enjoyed this episode as much as my guest and I did. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I do hope you will tune in for another episode. Until next time.